So a question I often get asked by golfers is, what is my aim like? And it's very interesting watching golfers set up, because they generally set up very textbook. They aim the club down the ball's target line, get those feet nice and parallel, so the old railway line ideas. But when they put the swing on it, the ball misses, for most golfers out to the right, but instantly they go back to checking where they aim. Now, just comment below and let me know if you're one of those golfers that when they hit that poor shot, the first thing you're doing is you're putting something down by your feet, putting something down by the club. Now, I'm maybe going to give you a different idea on what your aim should be and why maybe what a lot of us get taught is maybe wrong for 99.9% of golfers out there. Now, let me explain. So, run through this with me. I'm sure this will be exactly what you've been told, that you need to hold the club, get that club face nice and square. Then you need to point the club at the ball's target line and get those feet parallel, but left of target. Now, you're probably watching this nodding along with me. Now, what I would say though is that is then insinuating that you're going to hit a dead straight shot. And how many of you out there can actually hit the ball dead straight? So I'm going to try this and I'm going to attempt to hit a dead straight shot. Not bad. Pretty much down the target line. But if we look at the delivery of the club on TrackMan there, I've actually swung very slightly from the inside with a slightly closed club face, and I've still had 14 feet of shape on the golf ball for that 170-yard shot. Now, I would say that that is very straight-ish, but in order to hit the ball dead straight, I would need to have my path 0, my club face 0, which is virtually impossible, and I would say is impossible to do every time. Or if I want the ball to finish at target, I need to understand how my ball curves in order to then learn where I would need to aim to get the ball to finish there. So if I said most golfers, like that opening shot, we saw tend to set up nicely, aim straight and make their swing, and they will see the ball curve from left to right. Hopefully not as much as that, but that'll work for this purpose. So we see there the club face was 10 degrees open, which gave me 51 feet of curve. The ball ended up 110 feet right of target. Now that is very wide, but if I was a very consistent golfer, I wouldn't want my railway tracks aiming at the target. I would want the club to aim 110 feet left, then get my feet parallel to that, and if I was really consistent with my delivery, which I'll try and get close to that, this should get back to target. So it's a poor strike, but we see the ball curving back to target, and that would be very, very playable, particularly for a bad one. And I know lots of comments will probably be, well, that's not correct. You know, everybody should be learning to try and hit the ball straight. I'm not a big believer that we should be trying to hit the ball straight. I think we should be playing with curve. As long as we can control how we deliver the club reasonably to make sure that the ball can't shape either way as a random one. So as long as you know the ball is going to shape left to right or right to left, you can aim accordingly. So for me personally, as a kid, which was clearly a long time ago, mine would have shaped left. Now I think where I was a bit inconsistent, I never really knew how much shape I was going to get. Therefore, I just randomly aim in different places out to the right. So kind of felt I was inconsistent. But what I would say, and it's a great thing to practice at the range, is set yourself up perfectly square like this and hit a few shots and try and see what your pattern of shot tends to be. So if I were to make my kind of more traditional swing, that's pretty much what I would expect. See the ball curve from right to left. And if I was fairly similar to that on a regular basis, we can see that one 48 feet of curve, but actually finish 25 feet left, so about 8 yards. So then in theory for me, as long as I'm consistent with that delivery, I could then aim that club face, and remember, club face is aim, body is alignment. I could aim my club 10 degrees right, what I think is 10 degrees right, get my body pretty parallel to where that club face is pointing, so now I'm aligned well. And then if I put that similar swing on it, there's the ball, setting off a little bit right because of that's where I've aimed, seeing the ball curve from right to left, and we can see there a little bit more curve, so that's missed slightly left of target, but distance control was good and therefore my accuracy is better. So I'm just not a massive fan that we should be trying to hit perfectly straight. Now, I will give it, and I'm sure people will have commented on this already, what if you play with a huge amount of shape? My initial thing is if it is a big amount of shape, as long as it's consistent, you can play for it. But you might want to feel like you take a little bit of shape off. So if you were a slicer of the golf ball, for example, you would see somebody who, from standing square, swings back, goes this way with an open club face. So they would need to work on delivering the club face better, and to change the path, they could, instead of standing square, they could close their stance so that the path, which is relative to this ball's target line, looks better. So a big slicer of the golf ball, for example, might close that club face a little bit, still now aim the body to the right, so the train definitely won't stay on the tracks now. One's going left, one's going right, and still make their swing, and hopefully see less shape. But again, if the shape starts to become consistent, that's where you can aim the club. So remember, the ball's going to set off very, very close to where the club face is pointing at impact, not necessarily where you've got it at aim. But if you are going to check aim, you have to check club. If you're going to check alignment, check body. But please don't get into that habit of where have I aimed and popping something here, 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 or here. That's alignment, club is aim. So remember, the big thing is don't obsess with this. Aim straight to begin with. Make your swing. So you hear lots of it nowadays, swing your swing. See what consistency you have of shape. If there's consistency, that should then influence where you start to aim. You might not get the exact same amount of shape every time, but if you're somebody that fades the golf ball, you could aim down that left-hand side, knowing that you're not going to miss left. And hopefully, the fact that you've played for your shape, even if you overdo it a little bit, you're going to have much more room for the ball to curve into. So we know for me, the easy one for me is the draw, the more natural one. So once again, I'm going to take hold of the golf club, going to aim that club 10 degrees right, 10 yards right, get my body aligned to that, make a good swing. And that one again, setting off a little right of target, curving back to target, and actually finishing very good, distance control good. Again, maybe a little bit of curve, so it's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent with learn to aim how you need to aim, and don't worry about being textbook, because remember, the textbook isn't written about you.